Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 29th of November for the Sun or the Ascendant. Now what I'm going to do is give you a broad overview of the major strands that are going to be influencing us all. And then please stay with me, I'll dive deep to give you in forensic detail your zodiac sign forecast. This week begins with a momentous astrological moment. The Sun and Mercury are so tightly together as we see it from Earth that they are in cazimi. This is going to see the power of the Sun magnify the influence of Mercury. Mercury technically is in detriment in the sign of Sagittarius where this event occurs, but I actually really quite like Mercury in Sagittarius. I think it's very thirsty for knowledge, it loves travel, it can be very adventurous, and the Sun and Mercury coming together suggests that we are going to have a greater desire to inform ourselves, but inform ourselves with higher ideals, the bigger picture, philosophy, history, any kind of background research, whether it's into the family tree or a business plan, can really benefit from this combination. Also very good for contractual discussions as well. Now we know that the world environment is challenged severely by COVID. If COVID wasn't there, I think a lot of us would want to inject our existence with some kind of spontaneity and adventurism. But we can still use our minds to achieve that. And Mars in the sign of Scorpio, which it governs, is forging a very compassionate link to Neptune. Now this suggests that we can dive deep in our thinking and the things that we explore, the knowledge that we gain in a very productive way. But also this week, the Sun is going to go on to forge a very stable link with Saturn. Now of course Saturn gets a bad astrological press, but it's very much to do with boundaries, stability, the structures that we're trying to build up that are positive. Of course sometimes Saturn will limit us around the things that aren't working so well. But this is a lovely angle because the Sun in Sagittarius is very much about freedom, and Saturn in the sign of Aquarius, also about freedom, is the ruler of that sign, the co-ruler. So where we're progressive and we're growing our situation and being more pioneering, but we're doing it in a step-by-step, thorough, well-researched way, Saturn supports the Sun in a very constructive manner. Now that brings us to that incredibly powerful total solar eclipse which occurs on Saturday. If you want to watch my deep dive video into this, please see beneath this video. Now this event is broadly going to still be in a sextile with Saturn, but it's also going to forge a quincunx with Uranus. So I think one of the things that we must embrace over the next 6 months, the range of influence of this final Sagittarius Gemini polarity eclipse in the series, before we go more into the Taurus Scorpio season of next year, and we've already had the Taurus lunar eclipse, the first phase of that. I think what we've got to just bear in mind is that the position of the Sun in the 9th house is about going for it. Uranus in the 2nd house is about more being conscious of our resources. So because they're not quite aligning very well, one of the things that we're going to need to work hard on, all of us, over the next half year is using our resources in a more constructive, practical way and not spending money just for the pleasure of it alone. So we're going to be looking to invest in things that have some kind of ongoing practical credential rather than living in the moment quite so much. So I think all of this is asking us to become much more mindful of our resources. But please stay with me for your in-depth forecast. But if you are new to my channel, I would be honoured if you would subscribe. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. Also, if you'd like to get your free daily horoscope, written horoscope, fired to your device each morning, please see the link beneath this video. And if you'd like to get your personal forecast for next year, you can do so now and get the rest of this year free, plus a character analysis plus 30% off. Also, please see the link below. Hello Aquarius, and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 29th of November. This week sees a total solar eclipse in your sector of friendship, of the group, of networking, of sociability. In fact, qualities very much in keeping with those of your own sign. So the next 6 months, these are going to be very important possibilities for you. But the week starts off with Mercury, the planet which is exalted in your sign and governs the second decan of Aquarius, linking quite perfectly with the Sun on the first day, known as Cazimi, quite a rare event in this same 11th house sector. So if you need to think about the future, this is a wonderful time to do so. Also, Saturn, your co-ruler, is linking very constructively to the Sun this week. So the plans that you're making, as long as you've executed each step in a very thorough, precise, well-researched way, every step forwards now just seems to be calibrated in a very traction-gaining way. What's not to like? It's awesome. Mars is high in the sky, giving you extra confidence and assertiveness, and that's linking pretty well with Neptune too. That can be good for your finances because you can assert yourself, but with a kind of a velvet glove that's encased in your steel fist, if you know what I mean. So you can put your point of view across with authority, but just the right deftness. And then as we get to the end of this week, we do have that total solar eclipse. There is a bit of a challenge on it because it is in a quincunx with your modern ruler of Uranus in your sector of home, family, emotion, security. And that area has continued to be shook up pretty well since the middle of May 2018 to the middle of November 18, and then again from March the 7th 19. Depends where your sun is in Aquarius, but if you're born towards the start of Aquarius, you felt the energies of Uranus quite sharply. And of course, Uranus has been challenging your other ruler, Saturn, for most of 2021, and they do come back into contact this week. So that is a bit of a challenge. But on this total solar eclipse, Uranus in that home zone is linking with your need to really embrace the broad canvas of life, to see the big picture, to be very free moving, which is a very Sagittarian energy. But you always will, with Uranus in your fourth house, have to be mindful of the restlessness that you may have, how that feeds into your sense of security. So you may be wanting to make some long-term changes, but it could be a bit disruptive over the next 6 months. But then your long-term plan may be so important to you, it's what you feel you need to do. So for example, it may be moving home, and you may love the home you live in, but it may put you in a location which is what you really want. But you may have to give something up in order to get something. But your vision is going to be very important to your sense of purpose at the moment. And Aquarius people often are very strong on vision. So this is a week with great optimism threaded through it and a real opportunity to spring forwards towards a lifestyle which is much more in keeping with what you really want, because the last few years has been quite punishing for some of us Aquarius folk, as I think you well know.